La clase de hoy vamos a hablar de un tema que
Today, we're going to talk about a subject that, with all the movement, the world's movement changes that we are living, there's a very high level of anxiety. And I would like to share with all of you some practices that help handle and understand what anxiety is and how to go deeper in it. These practices I want to share with you will help not just anxiety, but also for millennia. It was a Taoist practice that was done in order to deepen into meditation and into spiritual practices of Zen monks. So, in view of all the anxiety and stress amounts that we live in a worldwide situation, all the tension, frustration, deception, uncertainty of a turbulent period at all levels, economic, political, social levels, it is necessary to be able to handle and to go deeper into our internal peace, into our calm. So get ready to discover a little bit more about your body, how in simple points and paying attention to them and being conscious, we can improve and help our system. We need to understand that stress is a normal situation. You cannot remove it because it is our physiological response of our whole body in order to get ready to a challenge, a change, a menace. And every time there is a stress in your body, you will leave some muscular tension, your heartbeat will go faster, and you will go into an alert state. That is normal, it's not pathologic. Actually, it is healthy because it starts moving all the tools and everything your body has. It gets set into action in order to survive and live. What is the problem? No, the problem is when that alert state never rests, never stops. When it is when adrenaline is always at high level in your body. When there is a moment of tension, adrenaline goes high, your heartbeat goes faster, you hear your heartbeat, the digestion stops or slows down. If there's too much adrenaline, if adrenaline is just so high, way too high, you may get tunnel vision or to feel that things are going differently within time. Either you perceive them slower and faster at the same time, or also another of the symptoms of a sustained alert state is that all of your senses become oversensitive and you can smell, flavor, taste, or see things that you could not see before. But that is a symptom of the amount of adrenaline, of a very high state of alert. Then what happens is anxiety is a state of being worried, fear, and discomfort because of future menaces. Even if there's no external factor, there's a part of you that is sustaining that alert and won't allow itself to rest. We need to understand that our belief system, our mind, loves puzzles and solving problems. We are designed and programmed to survive. So let's pay attention to that. We will always pay attention to whatever is highly dangerous. And we have a very high capacity of getting stuck just looking at a specific area. Like, for instance, you don't get along well with a person. Actually, every time you see that person, you get, ugh. And when you get to a meeting when there's 100 people speaking, you just hear that person and you keep on realizing stupid things the person is saying. There are 100 people speaking. How can you tell? How can you not hear those other 100 people and you keep on hearing that other person that is like 10 seats away? Well, that's because your whole system is designed to survive in the jungle. When we don't know the truth of what we are, we feel naked in a jungle. And we need to be alert for what is happening. So whatever may be a danger, our system is used to paying always attention to that. That's why we can just silence all the 100 voices and just hear that one single person, because the person is a menace for us. And all of our attention, everything, is paying attention to what that person says or does so that you can react and act accordingly. Okay, now imagine that which you do with whatever is external, your system is also doing it with whatever is inside your body. Like, for instance, when you start having palpitations, which is just a symptom of an increase of tension, of blood pressure and adrenaline, your system takes that as an enemy. And understanding that as an enemy, all your attention will be paying attention to that because it is potentially dangerous. Can you see how that is feeding itself back? Your whole attention paying, or your whole system paying attention to an emotion that we don't know how it is, thinking it is potentially dangerous. Breathe. So anxiety is it's nothing but the way our whole system is trying to tell us there's a part of me that is scared to death, scared the shit, the hell out of us, out of us. Observe the human being. The more scared I am about something, the more I try everything to freeze, to stay the way it is. I am scared of losing and of getting lost in enormity. So I create structures and shapes that give me a sensation of security. Breathe. It is important to know how it is important to understand how our mind works. It is important to know how our brain also works and to know how to help ourselves. Otherwise, we are trapped like a hamster in the wheel. That's why a first step is always helping us to know how we work. Otherwise, when you've been for so long with anxiety, you don't see any possibility of change. Your whole system believes and trusts in anxiety because it is a survival mechanism. You see yourself dragged by fear, by panic attacks. And the longer you've been like that, it becomes pathologic. Of course it does. Because it's same as before. Any change will open us up to the uncertainty of freedom. That's why we try to create structures, names. We try to control that things don't move. You need to be honest to yourself. Realize that when you like something, what you try is not to move anything. So that it doesn't change. So the more structure I generate, the more beliefs, the more rigid opinions, the bigger my security, because it's my security little box. But I am separating from what is way bigger than me. I am farther from truth. And the farther I am from truth, the more scared I am to go out. The more scared I am of different things, the more scared I am of change. The more security, I immediately lose faith, but not the religious faith. Faith of knowing that there is something bigger than me, faith of knowing that there is something that cares for and loves. So the more scared I am, the smaller I feel. So when I see whatever reaction in my body, the more I try to control and the more pressure I put, and the more pressure, the more it becomes a jail, until you feel totally caged within your body, feeling that your body is your enemy. And that increases anxiety. And that is going to be extrapolated to everything. It's like that's what is considered general anxiety syndrome or agoraphobia or panic attacks. On top of that, remember that since your whole brain is fixed in that attitude, since your whole mind is fixed in that attitude, you believe that anxiety, which is a state, is what you are. And you just see yourself dragged by fear, just letting yourself be dragged. Watch out. When you have anxiety, it is not a fantasy. The symptoms you feel are real and uncomfortable. It is not a fantasy. You need to stop thinking that it is a fantasy or that you are weak. Anxiety is not because of weakness. It is just a survival mechanism that becomes exaggerated. For a very long time, it was not understood, and people would say that you are weak. No, that's not true. You're not weak with anxiety. You need to know that it is a survival mechanism. Just that your brain tells you a story based on experiences that you do not want to live.
no quieres perder, no quieres sufrir,
because you don't want to lose, you don't want to suffer.
pero todo lo que sientes es real. Por
But
eso el primer
everything you
paso cuando
feel
tienes
is
ansiedad,
real.
empieza tu corazón
That's
a
why
acelerarse, no puedes
first thing you have
respirar,
to do when you
empiezas a
have
sudar,
anxiety and your
que es
heart
ir en
feels
brazos, ir
pressured
dentro.
and you start sweating,
Cuando trates de hacer ese
first
vídeo,
thing you have to do is
necesitas
go to the doctor. It's
ataque
prudence.
de
Do not
ansiedad o de
try to do
pánico.
this video in the middle of a
Primero,
panic attack or
tienes
an
que aprender a
anxiety
hacerlo
attack.
cuando no tienes
First of all, you need to
pánico
learn
ni
how
ansiedad.
to do it when you do not have
Para que
a
cuando
panic
lo
attack
necesites,
or an anxiety attack,
funcione.
so that when you need it,
Y
it will
siempre,
work.
ante
And
cualquier síntoma
always,
físico, lo
before
primero
when you
es
see any
descartar cualquier
physical
enfermedad.
symptom, first of
¿Por
all is
qué?
discard any
Porque mientras
disease.
no la
Why?
descartes, una
Because
parte
for
de tu
as long as
cerebro
you don't discard it,
va
at
a
least a
decir, es
part of your
ansiedad, la
brain,
otra es,
your
no,
mind
no,
is
no,
going to say
es
it's
el miedo.
anxiety.
Y esa
And then the other
lucha
part is going
entre
to
tu
say, no,
miedo
no, no, what if it
y tu
isn't?
ansiedad.
And that fight
Lo
feeds
primero
fear and
siempre
feeds anxiety. So first of
es
all
la prudencia.
is prudence.
Tengo taquicardias, voy al
I've
médico.
got
Te dice,
tachycardia. I go
tu
to the
corazón está
doctor.
perfecto, es
He
ansiedad.
tells you
Ya tú lo
your
sabes.
heart is perfect. It's
Pues lo
anxiety.
primero es
Well, now you know.
que aunque lo sepas,
First of all,
vas a
is
tener
even if you know it,
taquicardia y
you
vas a
will
poder
have
pensar, me
tachycardia
muero.
and you will start thinking again, I'm gonna
Porque
die.
es el mecanismo de supervivencia.
Because it's the survival
Si me muero,
mechanism.
voy a hacer todo lo posible para no
If
morirme.
I die, I will do anything I can so that I don't die
Pero
if I'm
tenemos que
dying.
aprender a
But
dejar
we need
de
to
creer
learn to stop believing
en todo lo que nos dice
in
el miedo.
everything that fear tells us.
Y es un trabajo constante.
And it is a constant
Porque hemos
job
construido una
because
credibilidad.
we have built
Porque
a
el miedo es nuestro amigo,
credibility
nos ha protegido
because fear is our
de
friend. It
muchas
has
cosas en la
protected
vida.
us from many things in life.
Pero ahora es esa
But
fantasía
now it is a
exagerada,
fantasy.
esa
It is that
fijación de
exaggerated
amenaza
fantasy, that
en todo,
fixation like
lo que
menaces in
está haciéndome
everything.
sufrir.
And it is making me suffer.
Y eso lleva un tiempo.
And that takes time
Porque tenemos que entender
because we need to understand
que toda aquella información
that all that
que pone en
information
peligro nuestra supervivencia,
that
eso significa un shock
makes our
emocional, mental
survival
o físico,
endangered
todo tu sistema lo
is
va
a
a guardar
shock. It's either mental or physical shock. Your
en el
whole
subconsciente
system is going to keep it in the subconscious
para que tengas una experiencia.
so that you have an
Por eso
experience.
todo, la ansiedad tiene que ver con
That's
experiencias
why
del pasado,
all anxiety has to
emociones,
do with
shocks que has vivido,
experiences in the past, emotions, shocks that you have lived
que se presentan.
that come up.
Solo mira, ¿cuándo
Just
da el ataque
look,
de ansiedad?
when do you get an anxiety
No
attack?
es en mitad de una
It's
situación
not
de supervivencia,
in the middle of this
cuando tienes miedo,
survival situation,
madre mía, sino cuando te relajas,
but when
cuando
you
llegas al
relax,
sofá
when you
y
get to
te
the
sientas
couch
en el sofá,
and you lay
o cuando
down
te
in the
acuestas en la
sofa,
cama,
or when you
o
get
cuando
to
ya
bed,
llegas a relajarte
or when
conduciendo
you are
y de repente se dispara.
relaxing when driving, and then all of a sudden, anxiety triggers.
¿Hacemos así?
Isn't it so?
Claro,
Of course,
porque es cuando todo tu sistema
because that's when your
sabe
whole
que ya no
system
está en un evento de
knows
peligro
that it's not
y
in a
puede hacerse
danger
cargo de
event
esa
and
parte
now can take
que
charge
tenía
of
miedo.
that part that was afraid.
Respira.
Breathe.
Es la única manera, la ansiedad,
Anxiety is the
tu
only
cuerpo,
way
tus emociones,
in
tu
which your
mente,
body, your
solo te
emotions, your
están diciendo,
mind is
oye,
only
tengo
shouting at
miedo,
you, hey, I'm scared.
cuídame.
Care for me.
Imagina, puedes sentir
Imagine, can
esa
you
parte de ti
feel
de miedo.
that that part of you that has fear?
Piensa en algo que tengas miedo a perder.
Think of something
Cuando
you
envejeces,
fear losing when you
tu
get
trabajo,
older,
la novia o el
your
novio,
job, boyfriend, girlfriend,
que te sea infiel. Tus ataques de pánico
being unfaithful to you. Those panic attacks happen when nothing is happening. There's only fear. There was so much adrenaline and accumulated tension that when you relax, your body can express it. You were so filled up with adrenaline, of getting protected, mm, building a fortress around you. But your mind grabs the symptoms and takes them as enemies and understands them as enemies. And those symptoms are just the pressure of that part that feels like a scared child. That's why first thing you need to realize is when talking about anxiety, first thing you need to realize is it's only a part of me. It's not the totality. That part of me is shouting, I am scared. When did that anxiety crisis happen? When I have had to be the strong one who go ahead, fix everything, but inside myself there's fear. And that part is only waiting for the rest, your consciousness, look at it, like that child that needs the calm of dad. Tell me something. If in front of you there's a scared child, would you look at it with like menacing? Would you start fighting it? The child is only crying because he's afraid. You would go to him and tell him, don't worry, I am here. We need to learn to do that with that part that has anxiety. Okay, it is unpleasant. Okay, it is uncomfortable. I agree. But it's not bigger than you, and it is not the totality of what you are. It is just a part that is scared, and fear is uncomfortable, and fear is unpleasant. But it only needs us to be in presence, calming it down. That's why many psychologists give you a reinforcement of something physical that reminds you of that peace. But it's not enough. You need to be there, vulnerable. Accept that fear of that part of you. Accept humiliation, the humiliation of feeling anxiety, not feeling almighty, because part of you doesn't feel like that. It's not denying what you feel, nor the symptoms that you're feeling, but being there. It is to stop fighting against fear, against what happens. It is acting prudently, of course. First of all, I discard any pathology, but once it has been discarded, it's my responsibility to take care of my own health, to help my system lower that alert, constant alert state. And of course, why? How does breath help with anxiety? Because it's the way of relaxing that. that stress. And then we need to learn how to remove the focus because our whole system is going to be paying attention to that focus like it was a menace, denying other parts. Consciousness and attention is going to be there like an animal, paying attention to that not moving, like whatever is going to attack doesn't attack. That's what the attention is going to be. So that's why today I wanted to show you the base governor 16 point of traditional Chinese medicine. It is a point that was used in ancient times, and science has discovered for the last few years its role. For Taoists, it was a gate that would open communication between inside and outside at the base of your neck. I'm going to give you an image now so that you can see it.
Justo en el centro bajas por la parte central de la nuca.
You go down through the center of the neck in the back. So in this spot where the colon starts, that's governing base number 16. The head is up. I mean, just the school is right above the neck, the spine is right below, and this would be C1, C2. At this point in Chinese medicine was called as a wind palace. What we have learned is that it's intimately communicated with the cerebellum, the bulb, the vague nerve. For Taoists, this point was one of the key spots to handle higher dantian. If you don't know what I'm talking about, never mind. But it's got to do with communication. In the body, there are areas. If you read a bit, they were saying the 4 palaces of mind, because the second and the third palaces have to do with digestion and heart, that is the middle dantian. So let's say that there are areas of communication with the body, and there are spots that allow communication that communication in the whole body. So that spot we have there, DU16, just by touching it and bringing that touch to your consciousness, you activate it. So the Chinese medicine says that that pressing there, it lowers your heart and calms your mind. Just by pressing it with the fingers. Now, Occidental Western medicine, working in fresh corpses, they realized that just between the occipital, between C1 and C2, in that area, those tendons that exist there are intimately related to the brain. That's why whenever there's a survival story, a situation, something that I swear I'll never want to live again, the communication cuts down or stops there. And when communication gets blocked at the level of the cerebellum, it's like setting a filter to our perception. It's like our soul separating from living an experience.
Porque la ansiedad, tener miedo a lo que nos hace es retirarnos de la vida y del amor.
So it withdraws us from life and from love. And if we withdraw from it, we withdraw completely. Life becomes harder because there is no love. There's only fear and lack of faith. So it's weird because this image is 12:12. It's, sorry, 21:12. It's how science has just proven something that Taoists have been practicing for thousands of years. In the Taoist monasteries, they used this spot to concentrate and center more in their practice because it helps digest the physical, emotional, and mental part. So when we unite this to the breath, it helps calm down whatever anxiety state. It helps fix and to be much more in calm and in peace. But the first thing I need to know is what we were explaining about anxiety. One of the steps that I have seen in many students, especially now that these months we are learning about non-distinction, it's that in non-distinction I need to let go of identity, and my identity is still a structure to which I am attached because it gives me security. So I have a lack of faith in order to open up to unknown, to what is bigger than me. Every time a part of me wants to jump to the arms of God, then there's another part that just thinking that you have no control and you are lost, you get anxiety and fear. So one way of helping your body is to work with this spot. The more you do it, the more you will be able to let go all the beliefs, limits, and filters you have set. You know, and if you don't know, I will tell you, that everything you tell yourself about how you didn't have enough love in order to grow when you were growing, well, that's not true. If you had no love, if you had had no love, you would have a cognitive deficit. You wouldn't have been able to develop. If you can be useful in your life, have a job, have a conversation, you did have love. But part of you just got fixed in certain structures, certain beliefs. Okay, maybe your dad were not the parents you wanted, but you did have a grandpa, an uncle, a brother that played that role. But you don't see it, and you tell to yourself, my father was absent. Working with an advanced student, working with this subject, he realized that his story of repeating to himself, this is how I am because my father was absent, working with this spot, the way we are going to work now to release beliefs, he realized that substituting that absent father, he had a brother that was substituting the father. When he realized that, uh, he saw, sorry, it was a woman, so she realized then there was a memory coming to her mind of her father bracing her, and she realized that it was not that happened. So when you realize things, filters drop, and then you remember things. So, but maybe it was not always like that. But if you are working here and you can understand things, you did have enough love in order to grow. This is not so that you deny things that you know. It's so that you stay open to experience something new, to new possibilities. There may be something more that you have not seen yet. Open up to that possibility. It's not a matter of doubting yourself when you are scared. It's accepting the situation I'm living, but there's more to me. It's not just fear. An open attitude. It's not just what I am. It's not just this is what I am. There's nothing inside me that has to be broken or fixed or solved. I just need to embrace those parts that are in me. Nothing else. Breathe.
Observa.
Observe.
¿Cómo estoy ahora?
How I am now. We'll just do a small, brief exercise. Put your two fingers at the base of the neck, just at the end of the skull, before at the beginning of the spine, and bring your attention there. Close your eyes so that you're more comfortable, and just try to imagine how your nervous system is. If you can make yourself comfortable, get yourself comfortable. You may lay down, no problem. But your whole attention has to be like if you wanted to see that spot. Take all of your attention there. And try to imagine that image I have shared with you. How your nervous system is there. Do you feel tension in that area? Do you feel it free? Just pay attention. Don't do anything. Just realize how that area is.
Permite.
Allow
Observar esa zona.
yourself to observe that area. Just breathe. And I'm going to ask you to pay attention to certain things. Can you imagine the space between your ears? And in the meantime, you keep on breathing in an abdominal manner. Breathe with your belly. Can you imagine the space between your right ear and the top of your nose? While your attention is still in that spot, Can you imagine the distance between your left ear and the top of your nose?
Puedes imaginar
Keep breathing.
lo que ocupa o el
Can you
espacio
imagine
de la boca.
how much your tongue occupies within your mouth? How much space your tongue occupies within your mouth?
Puedes imaginar la columna de
Can
aire
you imagine
por nariz.
the column of air that moves within your nostrils while you're breathing?
Puedes imaginar la distancia entre la punta de nariz y tu
Can you
nariz.
imagine the distance between the top of your nostril, of your nose, and your chin?
Puedes imaginar la distancia entre tus dos orejas.
Can you imagine the distance between your two ears?
Y ahora puedes prestar atención
And now, can you
a la
pay
textura de la
attention
piel que hay debajo de tus dedos,
to the texture of the skin
al calor
under
que
your
emana esa
two
área.
fingers, the heat that area is emanating, heat that is coming out of that area? Try to imagine how it connects with your nervous system.
Puedes imaginarte ahí como un portal
Can you imagine there like a gate,
para reconocer.
a portal
Trata de
to
llevar todo
recognize?
tu aire, toda tu respiración
Try to
hacia
take all of your breath to that area. All the air you breathe, bring it to that area.
puedes empezar a hacer unos circulitos con los dedos suaves.
Can you start doing some soft circles in that area with your two fingers without pressure, not putting pressure? Imagine that with every inhalation, it enters through the top of the head and goes down to the neck, to that area, awakening every fiber.
Y observa qué sucede en tu mandíbula,
And observe
tus hombros,
what happens in your chin,
la frente.
in your shoulders,
Según
in your
dejas que esa
forehead,
respiración vaya desde la coronilla
as you let
hasta la
that
nuca,
breath go from the top of the head
como un
to the
río
neck, like a river
de calma que se expande.
of
La
calm,
cabeza, los hombros, las
expanding
piernas, los hombros.
through the head, shoulders, chest, abdomen.
Es como una puerta que conecta
It's like a gate that
las
connects
dimensiones.
the dimensions.
Y respira. Toda
And
tensión
breathe. All the
que bloquea
tension
esa puerta son los filtros, las creencias,
that block
las
that
expectativas
gate are filters, beliefs,
de buscar algo, de
expectations,
ser alguien,
looking for something, wanting to be someone,
de demostrar
must, having to prove
de lo que yo creo y lucho
what I
por.
believe, what I fight for.
Y eso hace que tu
And
percepción
that will make your
esté
perception
filtrada
to be filtered.
y que esas creencias
And those
generen una identidad
beliefs
que separa.
generate an identity that separate.
Así que respira y permite que aflore
So breathe
todo lo que
and
está
allow it
bloqueando.
to surface everything that is blocking in that area.
Si estás cansado, puedes bajar la mano
If
y
you are
prestar
tired,
atención
you
a
may
la
lower your
tensión
hand, but
de eso,
keep
¿no?
paying attention now that you have clear in that area of your neck.
Y si puedes, sigue
And
bombeando.
if you can, just keep pumping it.
Y vas a repetir lentamente.
And you will slowly repeat, allowing those beliefs, those tensions, those filters. You will recitate PrathyaHara without tension, without pressure, allowing it to drop. PrathyaHara. Prathya are beliefs. Hara is to let go. Pratyahara is to let go of beliefs. Everything you believe, all the power you have given to your senses, to your experiences, it's not denying them, it's allowing them to become flexible. Allow those layers to be dropping. Pratyahara. Knots to be loosening up. Pratyahara. Every circle you do with your hands is like a soft wind cleaning up. Pratyahara. It is allowing yourself not to doubt yourself, not to doubt what you have lived, but to open up that there may be something more. Pratyahara. That wherever you perceive things is from an individual standpoint, a local standpoint. But there's more. Pratyahara. As you keep repeating it, doing those circles and paying attention to that area, and just repeating Pratyahara, Pratyahara. You allow that everything you believe that is rigid, tangible, still, quiet, open up the possibility that everything changes, gets modulated. Everything is presence. Pratyahara. Pratyahara opens you up to the possibility of perceiving truth. And you can feel that something gets organized, calms down, gets ordained, no, gets tidy. Pratyahara gets in order. Gets ordered. Presence. Full presence. Pratyahara. Conscious of every breath, every sensation. It's not a matter of manipulating your body or your neck, but to listen to it. It's about listening to your body. Pratyahara. Allow you to remember your serene nature. Pratyahara. With every breath, feel that opening up of the mind, that harmony of the body. Pratyahara. that prepares you.
Permite que tu espíritu se expanda.
Allow your spirit to expand, your soul present to be expanded. Breathe. PrathyaHara. Stop stimulating that spot and just pay attention.
Presta atención a cómo está
Pay attention to how your forehead is, your eyes, even if they are closed, your breath, how you are breathing now.
cómo sientes la nuca, tu sistema nervioso.
How you feel your neck, your nervous system.
Visualiza el cielo infinito.
Visualize infinite heavens, infinite sky. If you want the blue sky, no roofs, no walls. Imagine that sky that doesn't need to be contained in anything. And allow yourself to feel the vastness, amplitude, silence. With every inhalation, try to feel those states of being, of wideness, vastness, silence. Try to accept, recognize that we are not just surrounded by skies, but we are part of that space. Try to feel the immense vastness of sky, and at the same time that you are part of that sky, of that space. Try to pay attention between each breath. There's a space of silence. At the end of the inspiration, before the expiration, there's a little hole for silence. At the end of the exhalation, before the inspiration, there's a little moment of silence. Try to perceive them. If your mind cannot stop, don't fight it. Use it. Between the end of a thought and the beginning of the next thought, there is a moment of silence. Try to perceive it. Those spaces, those moments are not void. Those moments of silence are full of possibilities, of potentials that are not yet. Try to discover it at the end of the exhalation, before the inspiration, before the inhalation, at the end of the inhalation, before the exhalation, at the end of every action, before the next action, there's a calm, there's a moment of calm. At the end of one sound, before the next one. Find, experience those moments of silence. And realize those holes that are full of possibilities, holes of silence. For a moment, realize that just like in the house, what we inhabit are the rooms, not the walls. So what we inhabit in life are those intervals, those constant intervals of possibilities. And it is there where experience can be experienced. If a house had had not those spaces, it wouldn't be a house, it would be a square, and you could not inhabit it. What makes it to be a home inhabitable is that space full of possibilities that you cannot change, that you can change, experience. Realize that, as we have seen before, we have been paying attention to the space between your ears. Pay attention to your body and discover that in that space you can breathe, your lungs expand because they are empty. Our cells have more void than matter. So your body, so you inhabit your body because it is a space, a temple, a silent temple, where you don't need anything else than pure presence. Realize that that internal void makes us lighter, makes us more free. So you're not the walls, you're not the body, nor the thoughts, nor the emotions. It is that space. Buddhists call it vacuity. It's like the ocean that sustains waves. That silence, that vacuity, sustains everything that appears and disappears. So allow yourself to let go. Pratyahara, all of those indications that separate you and open up to that vacuity that sustains. And as you let go of each layer, judgments, expectations, need of control, need for controlling, until you recognize the truth of your naked essence, presence, shapeless presence, silent presence, without a name.
No hay bordes, ni
There are
centro.
no borders nor a center.
No observas el espacio.
You
Eres.
don't observe space, you are space.
Te permites disolverte en lo que ya
Allow
eres.
yourself to dissolve into what you already are, amplitude, vacuity, unlimited consciousness.
No tiempo, no espacio, solo
Timeless, spaceless, only presence, shapeless, nameless.
permite explorar
Allow yourself to explore that vacuity
como el océano sostiene las olas.
that just as the ocean sustains waves, that vacuity sustains what appears and disappears.
Permítete habitar
Allow yourself to inhabit,
la presencia.
to be present.
No hay cuerpo,
There's no body,
ni emociones, ni pensamientos.
nor emotions or thoughts, just presence.
Sunyata.
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 A la vez sintiéndome pequeño en esa vastedad,
At the same time, feeling small in that vastness
que la vastedad
and
es
accepting that the vastness is me. Inhabit that sensation. It's not one or the other. It's to allow yourself to feel the immensity of vacuity, sunyata, and at the same time knowing that you are part of it, sunyata. You're part of that void. just for today, I inhabit the space and breathe. I am heaven, I am the sky without a container. I am the pause between thoughts. I am the silence that shapes every word. Sunyata. I am the interval between the notes, the musical notes. Sunyata. What always eternally is there. Vacuity. Timeless, spaceless, shapeless, nameless. Sunyata. I am the amplitude that doesn't need to get filled up with anything. Sunyata.
Sunyata no significa que nada exista.
Sunyata doesn't mean that nothing exists, but that nothing exists in a fixed and permanent manner. Everything that appears, everything that is like a wave, interdependent, changing, conditioned. Sunyata allows you to free, to get liberated from attachment shapes, ideas, and opens you up to the deepest freedom, compassive freedom. Sunyata is aperture, opening up.
Nada en mí se apega.
In Sunyata, nothing within me is attached. Nothing in me is limited. Everything is constantly modulated in presence.
Nada en mí necesita ser otra cosa ni conseguir.
Nothing in me needs to be something else or needs to achieve. Sunyata. So just for today, here I will stop prosecuting shapes. Sunyata. Loading stories. Sunyata. Trying to occupy spaces that do not belong to me. Sunyata. Because here, where you are, within yourself, inhabiting it, in your local spot of that huge, vastness, that's what you are. Sunyata. Rest. Sunyata. In that vacuity, which you already are. Aperture. Opening up with no center, no shore. A temple without walls. The invisible path where everything transits, everything rests. Sunyata.
Sin forma, puramente trascendental.
Shapeless, purely transcendental, purely present.
No tiempo, no espacio.
Timeless, spaceless, shapeless, nameless. Just presence. Accepting how things appear and disappear, and the only thing that stays is Sunyata, that silence, vast, broad, to which I belong, to which I am part of. Sunyata.
Apertura, libertad y expansión.
Opening up, freedom, expansion. Sunyata.
Explóralo.
Explore it. Allow yourself to feel, explore. This state.
Sunyata.
Sunyata. Inhabit. Get used to inhabiting that space, that void. Present.
Sunyata.
Sunyata.
Sunyata. Aprende a acostumbrarte a cómo
Learn,
vive
get
Vishnu.
to get used to how Vishnu lives,
Plenamente abierto,
fully opened,
libre,
free,
experimentando los bloqueos.
experiencing without attachments. Sunyata.
Sunyata. Reconoce, habita
Recognize, inhabit that state. breathe.
Poco a poco, consciente de tu cuerpo,
Slowly conscious of your body.
observa en qué estado está tu mente,
Observe in which state your mind is,
tu cuerpo, cómo respiras.
your body, how you are breathing.
Entra en gratitud
And
por tu cuerpo,
get into gratitude state
piensa en algo que ha hecho tu cuerpo
for
por
your
ti,
body.
que te
Think of
has
something that your body has done for you, like breathing,
algo que has aprendido en tu mente,
something that you have learned in your mind,
algo que hayas podido sentir en tu corazón.
something that you may have felt in your heart.
Entra en gratitud por la experiencia de serenidad.
And get into gratitude for the experience of serenity.
Esa gratitud se expanda,
Allow that gratitude to expand and fill up every cell of your body.
expande.
Expand it.
No solo expándelo a ti,
Not don't only expand
a
it
todo
to
lo que
yourself,
ves, a los ojos,
but to everything you see.
todo lo que está
Open your
delante de
eyes,
ti,
everything that is in front of you
forma parte de ese silencio, de ese
is
sonido.
part of that silence, of that sunyata.
Gracias a ese espacio,
Thanks to that space,
con el elemento tierra se puede generar las cosas.
with the element earth, you can generate things. Element fire irradiates, moves, and transforms. Element water, it can do that cohesion of everything. The movement of air gives life, and everything happens within that vacuity. So expand that gratitude.
Para que todos los que están sufriendo
So that everyone that is suffering can open up to find that peace, that calm. Om Tat Sat.
normal que estés muy relajado,
It's normal that you are very relaxed,
volver
that it's hard to
desde
come
esta
back
expansión,
from that expansion to the human,
expansión es lo que eres.
but that expansion is what you are. So it's normal that the human has a difficulty in coming back.
quisiera, desde este estado de paz,
from this
armonía,
state of peace and harmony,
hacer una oración
I would like to make a prayer
por todo, por la humanidad,
for everything, for mankind, so that we can remember
crecemos
how much we grow up when we accept collaborating one with another, when we accept that we all are the same.
una ola en el océano,
A wave in the ocean, being a part of that ocean.
Si no conoces esta oración,
If you don't know this prayer, just stay open and feel.
pero para mí es la oportunidad
But for me, it's the opportunity of
potenciales,
feeding potentials
paz y serenidad,
of peace and serenity.
ahí donde hay rechazo,
Wherever there's rejection, there's hatred,
avaricia,
where there's pain and greed,
para que nos abramos a lo que es más grande,
so that we open up to what is bigger than us, larger than us.
porque como individuo no tengo el poder de parar una guerra,
Because as an individual, I do not have the power to stop a war, but as part of everything,
puedo alimentar la paz
I can feed peace
con mi amor.
with my love.
Om Yaya Sri Ganesh, Om Yaya Sri Ganesh, Om Yaya Sri Ganesh. Om Yaya Sri Ganesh, Om Yaya Sri Ganesh, Om Yaya Sri Ganesh. Om Yaya Sri Ganesh, Om Yaya Sri Ganesh, Om Yaya Sri Ganesh. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheswara, Guru Saksat Para Brahma, Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Om Bhurbhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonat Prachodayate. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Surgandim Pusti Vardhanam Urvarukame Vandhanam Mrityor Mukshaman Ritate. Om Shuklam Badaram Visnam Shashi Varnam Chaturbhujam Prasanna Vadadandiyae Sarva Vinyo Pasantaye Agajanana Parvarkam Gajanana Maharnisam Anekadadam Bhaktanam Ekadanta Pasmahe. Om Namo Bhagavate Vesaya Guru Vedure Pravaraya Tathagata Harate Samya Sambhudaya Tavyata Om Vesaya Vesaya Maha Vesaya Vesaya Raja Samudate Swaha. Om Shanti 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 Om Krutaya Mahasriya Jiva Karuna Jnana Chadarma Om. Por vuestra paciencia y vuestro amor.
Thank you for your patience and your love. Going back so that you have it clear, when I want to handle fear and anxiety, I need to start seeing it not as enemies or as if my identity is outside, It's part of me that shouts and is scared and needs my calm and my presence. So what you need to rehearse 3-4 minutes every day is to put your fingers in the neck, on the neck, bring your attention to the neck, and then to unfocus your mind being fixed in the emotion and the problem. To help the spot to be deeper, we breathe with our belly without forcing, and we play a little bit with our mind. Like, what is the space between the ears? What is the distance between the ear and the nose? You're playing with your three-dimensional mind. You start making it see that not everything is tight, but there's space and distance inside. And that latest studies with encephalograms, they saw that it helps waves of peace. So we start with contacting the site, so touching the site, imagining distance between the ears, between the nose to the ear, the other ear to the nose. You can also play from the nose to the neck. Whatever that it is, imagining space and distance. When your mind has begun playing with the three-dimensionality, you start giving it, you start making small massage, paying attention to the skin, working with a guy that had Parkinson, because that spot in acupuncture is also used for Parkinson. What he felt was cold in that area is part of the nuclei that start deteriorating with Parkinson. Helping him to pay attention to that area, what began happening was that the reactions of rigidity in the body lowered intensity. You will not heal Parkinson, but there will be more of his soul inhabiting his body. What surprised him most was that it was like it was some ice coming out of the skin. That's because of all the emotions. Every time you said, I will never ever again leave this, I do not want this, that makes a constriction in that area, put some pressure in that area. By putting attention, it's more attention than physical stimulation, not force. You don't need to decontracture. It's just breath, pay attention in that area. And then I told you that when breathing, it was like from the top of the head to the neck. So you feel the air to start moving the channel, the energy channel, the chi energy channel. And then we've worked with PrathyaHara. It's a second level. If you have a very large anxiety, just stay with what I said, three-dimensional, breathe, and do circles in the area. If you want to deepen more in beliefs and to work intensity to the point of taking charge and letting go, it's PrathyaHara. It's a city of non-distinction that will help us flexibilize those beliefs, those rigid beliefs, and everything that we believe in our senses. That we believe that things are separated because we cannot see that invisible vacuum that there is between everything or among everything. And it helps us work towards feeling that vacuity that makes everything, that conforms everything, that probability that has not been manifested yet. And those which want even more after Pratyahara, you get to work space, Akasha, ether, it's sky or heaven, which I have said it in a mundane manner, but you're entering what Akasha is. What you think is the blue skies that you see, but it's farther from it, because that blue sky, in that blue sky is your planet, and your planet is in the vacuum of the space, but we haven't gone there, but you can use it. to see that it's bigger than you are. And then we fix it inside your body. What you identify yourself with are the walls of your house, but it's not what you are. It is the space that you inhabit. If there was no space, you wouldn't be able to speak or breathe, because just because there's that space in the throat, that's how we can make voice. So imagine all the possibilities that there are until you start feeling that space between every breath, between every thought, between every movement or emotion. There's that constant hole of silence. It's not void, it's full of possibilities. And that is vacuity, Sunyata. And Sunyata, that vacuity, is not that things do not exist, but what you think that exists in a fixed and isolated manner is not. We are all connected. We are all interdependent. Look at what happens in the world. It affects you. Stop believing it doesn't. Stop seeing yourself isolated and open up to what is bigger than you. And if you have realized, when we are there in that spaceless, shapeless, nameless, because we let go of everything that were judgments, identities, and attachments, there was just sheer presence. No power, no powerless, no gravity, no gravityless. Just presence modulating. And above everything, the gate to being able to feel abyss as it is. Simply presence modulating itself. And look at your mind now, your body. How you feel, how you breathe. And then a very important step in anxiety, work on gratitude. Thank your body for something that it has done for you today. Thank your heart for something it has felt. Thank your mind for something you have learned, especially to change your way of relating to it with that space. It's like thanking for walls, for windows of your house. But they are not what you are. And they are made up by what you are, without distinction. So, in the chat, I put the words PrathyaHara and Sunyata. PrathyaHara is let go of beliefs. What I believe is so structured and fixed. It's not letting go of denying them, but to flexibilizing them. Open up to freedom and to the possibility of what the truth is. That's why PrathyaHara leads us to be able to live vacuity from an incarnate point, which is Sunyata. If you just want to learn to modulate your anxiety and fear, learn to look at it as a part of yourself scared that needs your calm. Put your fingers behind your neck and look at the distance of your body within your head. Breathe, pump, and just breathe. 3-4 minutes, there will be a change. You will be able to see how something lets go and relaxes. If you want more, PrathyaHara. Do you still want more? Get to Sunyata. culture that cultivate that state. Simple, of being present. If you want to share what you feel or doubts in the chat, write it.
Recording stopped.
For those who are going to El Paso, you were asking me if I can have personal talks with you, and yes, I will have the possibility of being one-to-one with those who reserve. I don't have too many hours, but since I am going, I want to be there for you and care for you. So I am telling you, yes, I am available and open to being able to talk to you.
Recording in progress.
For those who are asking me, it's free, but if you're in gratitude and you want to make a donation, in the chat, I'm leaving you the link, my PayPal link, so that you can contribute. Thank you all for your time.
Abierto para todo el mundo. Y cuando esté abierto, si tú consideras que a alguien le puede ayudar, comparte el vídeo.
And when it's open and there's somebody that you think that can help, share it so that more people can feel it. Thank you. People say that they have been very much at peace. They have been able to clean up a lot of things. Thanks a lot to you. It's normal to feel that everything loosens up. There's a process of cleaning up. There's snots. It's normal. Now you know, in El Paso I will be in October 18, 19, 20th, where we'll go to deeper states, and then in Spain in December we'll do one and non-distinction and Krishna, one more step of that. So whomever wants, you know, it will be a pleasure. And especially there will be the video so that we can share it and help. If people from El Paso or people who are going to the December seminar, if you work in that spot in the neck, it will help you digest and go a little bit farther. I need to see when I get there the Wi-Fi of the hotel, if it's possible or not. And then whomever wants, write me by private message and I will tell you something.
Muchas gracias a todos.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Blessings. If there's any more question, have a very nice Sunday. For people in El Paso or in Mexico, beautiful day. And for Europe people, for people in Europe.
Mi página web
Thank you. They are asking me about my web page. This is my web page. In it, I do a monthly tarot cards. I focus with people who are in contact with me so that it's a guide for to see how you can take the month in order to grow in a personal and a spiritual manner. And then YouTube, it's the same, Ganagagni. And in Facebook, it's Ganagagni Premanima. Thanks a lot for your presence, your time, your confidence, your trust. Yes, the video is in YouTube. Its recording is in YouTube. When I upload it, I will put it in my network.
For all your patience and your conscience. See you in El Paso, Texas.